Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, all participants in the Student Aquaculture Conference, and also the Honorable Dr. Ihsan Ahmad Fauzi from Aquaculture Department, IPB University. Thank you for attending this conference. I am Muhammad Gusti Latov, currently a PhD student from Aquaculture Department, IPB University, the moderator of today's conference. I am very happy to see all of you here in this great opportunity, and welcome to Aquaculture Festival 2022. Today's conference is about the role of students in aquaculture development. And before we start our conference, I would like to invite all of you to sing National Anthem of Indonesia, Indonesia Raya. Please. Thank you. And now, I would like to invite the head of Himpunan Mahasiswa Aquacultur, Fadli Adam, to deliver the opening speech. For Fadli, time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everybody. I'm Fadli from Aquaculture Student Association of IPB University. I'm so grateful to be able this meeting today. Aquaculture Student Conference is a part of the biggest program of Aquafest, and this year, this is the second year of Aquaculture Student Conference is being held. This conference was held together creative ideas and solutions for some problem in some country from every delegate in aquaculture. I hope after this meeting, you can to be applicated this idea of this opinion in your countries. Okay, I think it's enough. Thank you for your attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you for the opening speech. And before we start our main agenda, I would like to inform you we already have 20 excellent participants for today and divided into 4 groups, included Nepal, the Philippines, Bangladesh, and also Indonesia group. And before we start, I would like to inform you about how this conference will go. First, every delegates in each group discuss 3 discussion topics according to the representative country. 2, discussion is divided into 3 sessions. 3, at the time of delivering the discussion topic, each delegate who delivered the opinion is given 2 until 3 minutes time. Every country representative is required to express the opinion. Each delegate is welcome to asking a question to other delegates. Each delegate is welcome to express opinion on each topic discussed as long as it doesn't exceed the specified time limit. And last, the content and information, theme match, ability to describe material, and activeness of participant is in the discussion is taken into account as an indicator to choose the best participant or delegates. And in this conference, we have three focus topic. The first is the development of aquaculture technology applied by each delegate's country. Second is impacts or problem arising from the aquaculture technology that has been applied. And the third is solution for the problems from the participant perspective. All right, we move along to the next agenda. We will start our conference session. In the first session, the topic raised is the development of aquaculture technology applied by each delegate's countries. Each delegate's representative can explain what is the main or superior aquaculture technology that applied in your country groups in 3 minutes. For first group, from Nepal group, who is the representative? Nepal group. Will give the opinion about the first topic.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. You have 3 minutes. We will start now. Please.
Okay. I think the conversation or discussion is I need some help from my fellow group in Nepal country. It is Zoran. How about Zoran? Are you there?
Yes.
Please.
Okay.
I'm Nepal group. Okay. Shall I do the discussion first?
Okay, please.
Yes, Zoran.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Once again, good morning, everyone, and assalamu alaikum. I am Mr. Zoran Francis Echevarria from Mindanao State University, Philippines, taking up fisheries major in aquaculture. So for group 1, which is the Nepal, our topic is all about distribution and conservation of cold fish species in Nepal countries. So the FAO Regional Office for Asia and the Pacific was requested to conduct a review of the development potential for fisheries and aquaculture in Nepal. This document is the output of this mission. The document provides a brief status of the sector in Nepal based on a literature review and interviews with the main stakeholders in the sector. The document also lists a number of priority areas where the government of Nepal and FAO potentially can follow up with smaller projects to facilitate the development of aquaculture and fisheries in Nepal. The review concludes that there are plenty of good smaller case studies in Nepal which could be built upon into larger scale initiatives if funding was available. It is clear that there is a considerable potential to develop both fishery and aquaculture further in Nepal, and some discussions have already taken place on how to potentially link fishery and aquaculture components to other FAO activities in Nepal. The main findings from the mission were presented to a broad range of stakeholders on November 9, 2007 in Kathmandu, Nepal, and this report also contains comments received from the readers. Another is habitat degradation and loss probably has been more responsible for decline of native fish species. Nepalese fishes are one of the main aquatic vertebrates which are yet to be studied for their occurrence, distribution, and ecology, especially from western regions of the country. However, before complete understanding on native fishes, threat over their existence have been loomed by climate change, overfishing, pollution, alteration of natural habitats, and poor understanding of importance of fish ecology. Thus, publicizing the importance and knowledge of fish conservation has been one of the most important challenges. The other challenges are sustainability of quality and quantity of fresh water which have been impacted. In such circumstance, to overcome the problems, adoption of community or cooperative-based conservation could be one of the best approaches for freshwater and fish restoration. Optimistically, a national strategy on conservation of freshwater fish is desirable. Fish conservation has the opportunities to be used for multidimensional purposes. A success of a single fish species might contribute sustainability and local economy if that could be used in aquaculture or angling for tourism industry of every country, especially at Nepal country. That's all. Thank you.
Yeah, it's enough.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for delivering the opinion from Group 1, Nepal. Okay, very nice explanation. Now we continue to the next group from the Philippine groups. Who is the representative for the Philippines?
Hello.
Okay, Veronica.
Okay, first of all, is my voice clear to you all? Because I'm afraid my headphones not working properly.
Yeah, it's clear. Please.
Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna start. My name is Karen Saputri. I'm from Indonesia, but I'm in place for the representative of Group 2, which is the Philippines. And we're going to discuss, we chose the topic for today is about RAS or Recirculating Aquaculture System. So what is RAS or Recirculating Aquaculture System? It is a technology where waste produced from aquaculture is treated and reused, hence reducing the need of water renewal whilst minimizing the risk of pollution from and to the environment. It is often placed indoors to maintain an ideal fish environment. And in RAS, the water quality is an important requirement that can affect the development, growth, and also the level of fish production. And there are several important processes in RAS. The first one is the disposal of solid waste using physical filtration. The second one is biofiltration using bacteria in growth medium. Example, the bioball. And then the third one is degassing of carbon dioxide and other toxic gas. And the fourth one is aeration to increase oxygen level in the water. And the last one is disinfection, usually using chlorination, UV or ozonation. But as time went on, people usually choose to use UV and ozonation since it is safer than chlorination. Also, key parameters affecting RAS is the biological filtration, which break down the ammonia and nitrate. Some parameters crucial for RAS is the hydrogen power level and temperature suspended solids or TSS, the concentrations of nitrogenous compounds such as ammonia, nitrate, dissolved oxygen, and then carbon dioxide and alkalinity. The strength of RAS is people can culture high densities with tanks in a controlled environment. The second one is it can also be placed in urban area or outskirts of big city to reduce transport costs and ensuring that the product reaches the market in the freshest conditions. And the third one is protection against adverse weather conditions, since it's usually placed indoors, and also protection from predators, absence of leaks in the tanks, and also control discharge of water. But the weakness of RAS is high startup cost, since it's to build the filtration system and also the build of the tanks. The second one is even higher maintenance costs, like the labor or the electricity bill, the energy, and also the feed, since it's can produce high intensity culture product. Poor management, for example, if the biological filtration falls, it can lead to ineffectiveness of RAS, occurrence of diseases, harvest time becomes longer, and net returns decrease, and also higher stocking levels may result in economic failure. And also, feed with high efficiency rate is beneficial, so it can lower the impact on the water treatment system. The solution we can get for RAS to overcome the weaknesses or the obstacles is to use intelligent IoT system to monitor the water quality of the RAS system, and also provide real-time sensor readings and analytics to stakeholders. The second solution is to using solar panel to reduce electrical expenses. In the Philippines, the example of usage of RAS is in Roxas, Oriental Mindoro, and the innovator is Mr. Cuyano. Mr. Cuyano has a polyculture with RAS system to culture tilapia and also Pangasius monodon. And the RAS system is also supported by the government or the Department of Science and Technology of Mimaropa. And using solar panel in the culture system of RAS can reduce the monthly electrical expenses by as much as peso 25,000. If we use Indonesian rupiah, it's about 6.5 million per month just for electrical expenses, since the overall of the facility and also the ponds are using solar panel. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Now we continue to the next group from the Bangladesh group. Who is this representative?
Yeah, it would be me.
Okay, please.
Wait, may I ask, am I audible now?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the opportunity. Hello, everyone. My name is Shifan Zulia Salsabil. Right now, I'm a representative of Group 3 I am from Indonesia, but currently I am representative of Bangladesh. Well, we know that in Bangladesh, there are some traditional aquaculture, which is, for example, like Minapadi and also Biofloc. And both of the aquaculture system, they have some disadvantage. For example, in Minapadi, if we use Minapadi in aquaculture system, there would be any toxical things from fish waste, and it would be impacted to the rice itself. So we have we propose the innovation aquaculture system, which is integrated aquaculture, which is IMTA. Integrated multi-tropic aquaculture, it's a practice in which the byproducts wastes from one species are recycled to become inputs for another. So it will be environmentally friendly, and fish fed in a pond produce phases, which in turn can be utilized by plants. For example, like carp, it's not carp, it's kelp, and also it could be seaweed or something like that. These plants may be a carp. Alternatively, the nutrients may be used to create microalgae and zooplankton blooms in ponds, which may feed other fish species that graze on these blossoms. Multi-trophic refers to the incorporation of species from different trophic or nutritional levels in the same system. This is one potential distinction from the age-old practice of aquatic polyculture, which could simply be to the co-culture of a different fish species from the same trophic level. And then the IMTA itself, it has been implemented in USA and Canada, and it has huge potential to be implemented in Bangladesh. In US and Canada, they use IMTA, and these IMTA systems were considered better for the environment and animal welfare, and to a lesser degree, safer and healthier, based on the research by Kibria and Haq. That IMTA itself, it could be implemented in freshwater area. And we know that in Bangladesh, mostly people still use the aquaculture system in freshwater area. And based on the research, IMTA has shown a potential by crop diversity with a traditional food fish, a cash crop like stinging catfish, mollusk, and water spinach for the same pond. So yeah, we propose that IMTA could be implemented in Bangladesh. Thank you.
Thank you for the nice presentation. And now we continue to the last group from Indonesian group. Who is the representative?
Hello.
Okay.
I'm
Okay,
Gibon.
please. Yeah.
Okay. I will discuss all about aquaponics in Indonesia.
There is an
the
echo
aquaponics
here.
Indonesia.
Can you please?
Hello.
Yeah, there is an
I
echo
am
here.
audible.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am
Yeah. No, it's
audible.
clear.
It's
Okay.
very clear. Okay.
Please.
Okay, thank you. Welcome here in the Philippines. I am Ryan Juliaranda Fabay from Mindanao State University at Naawan, here in the Philippines. I will discuss about the aquaponics in Indonesia. Aquaponics in Indonesia, it is a tiny ecosystem that can build at home. What is aquaponics? How we can define aquaponics? Aquaponics is an integrated multi-tropic system that combines the elements of recirculating aquaculture and hydroponics, which we can culture fish and we can culture plants. Wherein the water from the fish tanks that is enriched nutrients is plant growth, is used for plant growth. We use plants such as the lettuce, herbs, and the green leafy plants. And we use also fish, the freshwater fish such as the tilapia, catfish, eel, and commercial feeds. And we use also microbes such as the nitrosomonas and the nitrobacteria. In the aquaponics is a symbiotic aquaponics cycling, where we cycle the plants, fish, and the bacteria. That is why it is so-called a symbiotic aquaponics cycle. But in the aquaponics, we have also some design in Indonesia. No? The water recirculates in a loop. It is a flows from the fish tank to filtration units before it pumped into the hydroponic beds that are used as the water reprocessing units. Then we have technology in Indonesia such as the media-based system, the based water culture, and the nutrient film technique. But here is the technical challenges when we push through into the aquaponics. Aquaponics requires higher degree of field-specific insights in terms of both practical and in-depth theoretical challenge, such as the pH, nutrient balance, health management, and the nitrogen cycle. But what is the difference between hydroponics and the aquaponics? We know that hydroponics is the sterile root zone, while the aquaponics is a symbiotic root zone. Then in the socio-ecological challenge, the challenge in Indonesia are the mineral recycling, water, energy, overfishing, and urban farming, and technical education for the socio-ecological challenge. That are the some problems that were encountered in Indonesia. For future studies, some researchers conducted on the automation. They used also more organism, nutrition, and the system designs. Then aquaponics, as I have said before, a symbiotic integration of mature food production discipline. This is the science of fish farming and the science of growing plants without soil. In Indonesia, it describes how to build the Bumina and Eumina special aquaponic type of system. The Bumina system, it integrates fruits and fish, and the Eumina system, it integrates fish and vegetable. This technology in Indonesia is the most appropriate for freshwater fish and vegetable. The fish species used in Indonesia are some are the tilapia, gourami, the snakehead, and the eel. And the mechanism involved in the aquaponics is we feed fish, then it exits an ammonia, then it produces nitrosomonas, convert into nitrite, then nitrobacter, then converted into nitrate. Then the sum of the equipment or materials needed are the tanks, media beds, biofilter, water pumps, electrical sources, and the heaters and the cooler. But it is the tips, one of the basic tips when you considered in Indonesia, the technology is start as a small amount of as a small technology, start in a small technology, then choose plant or fish wisely and test water regularly. That's all for Indonesia, and thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I think you're still muted, Mr. Gustilatov.
Okay, I'm sorry. All groups has presented the opinion from each country. So now, before we start the discussion, each group has presented from group 1 is about the conservation of cold water fish species in an aquaculture system. Group 3 is about integrated multi-tropic aquaculture, or IMT, and the last group is about aquaponic. Now it's our time to have our discussion. Everybody here can deliver to the other delegates a question, and also tell us and to whom is the question addressed. You can use the raise hand in the Zoom menu, and we have 10 minutes overall in this session. So if you have a question to discuss, please tell us. Okay, first from Rian Fabay, please.
Okay, good morning to each and everyone and every country that you present a very nice presentation, and thank you so much. We've learned a lot in your country, and here in the Philippines, we welcome you all for our country. And I have prepared the 5 questions, and every presenters from Nepal, Philippines, and Bangladesh. May I ask the speaker if I am allowed to ask 5 questions directly or one by one?
I think you can ask one question first because there is other question from another delegates.
Okay, thank you. One question and every for Nepal, may I ask questions for Nepal? What is the specific problem in aquaculture in Nepal, and how it was distributed? The aquaculture here in Nepal also, how the government take action on the effect of overfishing and climate change, and how they take action on the conservation. Thank you. And for the Philippines, how RAS was implemented in the Philippines appropriately, how RAS works for the implementation in aquaculture, and what are the mechanisms, and how RAS work in outdoor environment, and how RAS works in semi-controlled environment. And for the Bangladesh, for the EMTA, how aquaculture work in Bangladesh, and how EMTA, what is EMTA, and how it works, what is the mechanism behind the EMTA, and how EMTA works for sustainability in Bangladesh. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question, Rian Fabay. And Rian Fabay asking for each other group. And I think the first next question for Nepal. The representative from Nepal can answer a question, and we will discuss next. Okay, who is the representative to answer the question? Yeah.
Can I
Yeah.
from the Philippines?
Okay. Please.
Okay, so I guess can I ask Mr. Ryan Fabay to repeat again especially to the last part of the question?
Oh yeah, please, Mr. Fabay.
I have an internet problem. Thank you, Sir Fabay.
Hello.
Hi. Hello, Sir Ryan. Hello, Ryan.
My question in the last is how Nepal takes action on the conservation for aquaculture purposes.
Can you get the question? You are mute.
Okay, sorry. Am I audible enough?
Okay, let's answer the question from Mr. Ryan.
Okay, so Sir, Ryan Fabay from the Philippines, my colleague, asked me what is the main problem of aquaculture in Nepal. Okay, so I think one of the main problem, I will be specific at their freshwater, the introduced or the invasive species that they introduced. For example, the carp. The carp in the river and lakes are very abundant, but if you sum up, carp is not native to their country. I think some species are native, but they have introduced species. So, in my own opinion, like also here in the Philippines, invasive species is a very, very big problem because it will fluctuate our native fishes. And I guess not also in Nepal, but all around the globe, introduced species is one of the main problem because it will kill our native organisms, which is that native organisms that should be our priority because that is our product. But I guess one of the solution which is implemented by the Nepal is the indoor aquaculture, which is very safe. If you want to introduce something, confine them in an environment which is they cannot escape, because if a certain invasive species or organisms will you put it in a natural environment, 100% it will escape and some leakage will happen, and that organisms can interfere to our natural body of waters, not only in fresh water but also to the marine waters. Yes, it is a big problem that the Nepal country must practice or they should boost the indoor aquaculture technology in their country. And for another to Sir Fabay is, can you again repeat the last part of your question?
Okay, Mr. Zoran, I think it's enough because there is a
Okay.
session. There is a session for the problems. Yeah,
Okay.
this problem.
Thank you.
Okay, we continue to the next group. The pin.
But Mr. Zoran answered very quickly the questions. Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. And for the second question for the Philippines group, the representative who will answer the question, please. You get the question right?
Okay.
Yeah, I get, but and then my friend will add in the answer for Ryan too.
Okay.
Okay. Before I start, I would like to say thank you for the delegates of Indonesia, Ryan Faban, for asking the question about the how was the implementing RIS in Philippines. Actually, the Philippines is not unfamiliar with RIS or recreating aquaculture system, because in Philippines also have several company who move in the aquaculture system, especially in RIS, such as like e-primate and then Philippines crab aquaculture, and then the other ones. Why we as the delegates of Philippines to emphasize about the RIS for this innovation aquaculture system, because with RIS also, beside it can eco-friendly itself, but it can also decrease the cost that we have to implement it. So the result of the RIS for the farming of fiscal cultivation, it higher 10 times. So by that, when Philippines or the government in Philippines implementing the RIS, it can help a lot of or improve the result a lot. I think enough, or maybe in the other delegate from Philippines want to add in my answer.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the
Okay.
second question from Ryan is about the mechanism of RAS, of recycling aquaculture system. So, as I've said before, the mechanisms there are 5 mainly. The first one is the disposal of solid waste using physical filtration. It dissolves the big particles. So when the water moves to the next filtration, which is the biofiltration or the chemical filtration, it doesn't have big particles like dirts or maybe other big wastes. So the second filtration would be the biofiltration. The biofiltration system has biological growth medium for bacteria like Nitrobacter or Nitrosomonas to dissolve the toxic biological components like ammonia or nitrite or nitrate or even other toxic gases. So when they move to the other filtration system like the chemical filtration, usually they use UV or ozonation. It doesn't have any toxic gas like ammonia or nitrate, things like that. So in the chemical filtration, chemical filtration usually making sure that there are no other toxic components. So UV works by eradicating the remaining pathogens like bacteria. If in the water there are bacteria, it can be killed or eradicated by UV or ozonation or any other chemical compounds for chemical filtration. And moving on to the next system, which is the aeration. So when the water is input in the aeration system, it has no toxic gas or pathogens. It only has pure water, but it still has minerals, or it can be pure water depending on what filtration method you're using. So in aeration, it only increased the oxygen level in the water. So when moving on to the disinfection, it already has a high level of oxygen. That's the mechanism of RAS before it's transported into the the tank before tank to contain the water before it's transmitted into the tanks containing the cultured products. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the explanation and also answered the question. And the last question for Indonesia group.
Sorry, for the Bangladesh first, I think.
Oh yeah, I think from the for the Bangladesh group.
Okay, thank you for the question, Ryan. So you mentioned about what is actually IMTA and how it's implemented in Bangladesh. for this session, I'm going to clarify first that actually we don't say that IMTA currently have been implemented in Bangladesh, but it will be our solution to increase the sustainability of the aquaculture in Bangladesh as our part of the solution. But the main problem in Bangladesh aquaculture today is the implementation of rice fish farming or minapadi and also biofloc that currently implemented unsustainably because they are only combining several type of technology, and then in order to increase the production of fisheries and or aquaculture, but they don't ever you know, the priority of the how the food security producing for the aquaculture by using this kind of method being a very concern is not the priority one. And if you ask me how actually the IMTA will be a good solution to increasing the sustainability and the food security producing for the aquaculture, because in integrated multi-tropic aquaculture, we will, or the fishermen, or in this technique, there will be several tropical level of the aquaculture. One, for example, the detritivore, and one is the production, and the other one as the consumption of the nutrient in the aquaculture system. So there is no or less waste producing by the aquaculture system, and at the final product we will get several tropical level of the aquaculture product that more safe in terms of the food security. I hope that is answer your question.
Okay, thank you for the explanation. Okay, all group has explained what is the technology of aquaculture that's applied or will answer the question or the problems in the aquaculture sector in each country. So we move to the second topic. The second topic raised is the impact or the problems arising from the aquaculture technology that has been applied in each country. Each delegate's representative can explain what is the main impact, both positive and negative impact from the application of that aquaculture technology. Also, every group still have 3 minutes to explain what is the impact of the aquaculture technology applied. Okay, now I will start from Indonesia group.
Hello.
Who is the representative? You will also explain the second topic, or there is other?
I am allowed to explain the impact of the aquaponics in Indonesia, or other group,
Okay.
other my colleagues.
If there is other member of your group, it will be better. So anybody
It's better.
from your other member?
From other member, can I ask somebody else to discuss the EMTA technology in Indonesia? Or no one can discuss? I am willing to discuss this.
Okay, please.
Okay, when we say EMTA, the technology in Indonesia is the most appropriate for the fish, vegetable, and also the fruits. No, many types of the plants can be cultivated. No, the fish species used are the catfish, gouramis, naked, and eels. These are generally grown in above the grounds. It can create solve the food security problem in the Indonesia. And other farmers dig a pond and line it with a tarp or tarp pond or a plastic liner. No, in Indonesia, this is very important that there is a liner in some technology, because this technique that does not work in some earthen ponds, but naturally in the standard way, the most impacted in this, it can produce really more production of fish and more production of aquatic plants or vegetables such as the herbs and vegetable that really impacted to the community of Indonesia. And we know that Indonesia has increasing the population to come up food security, specifically in the rural area and the urban areas. In the, like for example, your place in the squatter areas, you can culture fish and plants, even a little bit of small areas in the local of Indonesia. Likewise, it is very beneficial because the starting density and time to harvest depends on the fish species. Like for example, the best plants that they cultivated for the aquaponics are the salads, the leafy greens, the herbs, the medicinal plants, and the fast-growing fruiting plants, which can help the community. That's why aquaponics is really helpful to community because the mechanism involved in the aquaponics is which the ammonia converted to nitrite, then to nitrate by the use of nitrosomonas and nitrobacter. We utilized water. We utilized RAS system, the recirculating aquaculture system, which generate income to the Indonesian people. This aquaponic technology can survive more people, can solve the food security problem in the Indonesia. That's why this technology is really effective. No? Then another future study, later on the scientists, the researchers will find out that the automation by these aquaponics in Indonesia is really effective. More organisms, no? Like for example, more organisms, like for example, not only tilapia, milkfish, no, used in the aquaponics, but it will solve, it will use another organism and solve for food security for the Indonesian people. That's why aquaponics technology is really effective to the Indonesian people. Specifically, Indonesia has increasing population, no, and developing countries in the Asian country. So let's promote and let's prioritize this aquaponics as our source of food in Indonesia. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your explanation. And next group from Bangladesh.
Okay, thank you for the time. So the biofloc and rice fish farming is two of the most emerging technology in the current aquaculture in Bangladesh. I will mention several positive and negative effects from this implementation of technology for the aquaculture in Bangladesh. Biofloc itself, which mainly can increase the production of the aquaculture because you know the fish farming system can be implemented in several species of fish and aquaculture. On the other side, the biofloc need a quite big or quite specific species that will also become a challenge for the Bangladesh aquaculture because the area for the aquaculture actually is very limited in Bangladesh. And for fish farming, the positive impact for fish farming actually this kind of aquaculture is more resilient regarding the impact of the climate crisis because in the fish farming they combine rice production and also aquaculture, so the utilization of nutrient from the fish aquaculture can be absorbed by the rice field. Unfortunately, the toxicological effect of this technique is still being a major concern based on the research because without degradation of several waste from the aquaculture, there may be several substances that still unsafe or not safe for the food security. And the rice fish farming actually have very potential for producing the invasive species, because the aquaculture, sometimes the fish from the rice fish farming easily to escape from the area of the aquaculture, and yeah, this problem will bring such a great devastating problem if the fish or the specific species that being farmed is escaping from the area of the aquaculture production. I think that's all for the problem and also the positive impact of the two technology in Bangladesh current aquaculture.
Okay, thank you for your explanation. The next is the Philippine group.
Okay. Okay, thank you for the time. And I'm Ruby Aguiles, the representative of Group 2, or the delegates of Philippines, who would like to deliver the opinions about our discussion, our result of discussion about the impact of problems rising from the aquaculture technology that has been applied. Actually, in the Philippines itself has choose or decided that we choose the RIS, or recreating agriculture system, for this solution. Actually, the RIS itself can have a high efficiency for food security and circular economy itself. And this system, which will have a minimal water use and could be implemented anywhere in the across Philippines. So it is possible to implement it to all areas. And also could give a small communities and represent reliable access and sustainable animal proteins. And we provide about the proteins or the high proteins for the animal or for the fish. And also the impact, the good impact that can create from the RIS or recirculating agriculture system. There are several, and the first is with RIS itself is there's no need to buy a filtered cotton, because we also they're recirculating the water system for the RIS system. And the second one is the water is always clean without the need to be replaced for a year, so it can decrease the water that we need for the fund. And then the quality of meat of fish that produces from the RIS system, it is tasted delicious. It's based on the research from the researcher. And then the fast fish growth, because we also provided the proteins in that fund, so the fish can grow up easily and also higherly like it. And then also the by RIS also provide the plankton and plant growth easily, and then can be implemented in the narrow land and minimal water and minimal capital, so by that it can suitable with any area, because it can apply it to narrow land. And then no smell causes and no waste, because we also provided implemented the zero waste concept with the RIS. And then easy management to check filter is dirty or damaged. And then apart from weather changes, weather, environment pollution, and predator. Now, the one of best point that RIS raises is we not based on the climate change. So when the climate change happen for on Philippines, or it's not depends on, it's not disturb the RIS system, so it can be we can harvest the fish from RIS system everywhere, anytime, because it's not depend on the climate change. But RIS also have a weakness, and the first one is mostly applied in the classroom. So when we apply in the RIS, so we have to make indoor rooms to cultivating the fish. And also pump capacity, biobal, solid carcel, which is quite a trend on the budget. And then not suitable for areas that often met least. It is a prey for power outs. Area is suitable for areas which it's going to be hard in the maybe in the area that is along the electricity. So because we when we're talking about technology, so we also need the technology. So by that and the challenging that we have to implement the areas in across the Philippines is all of the areas in Philippines have to need electricity, equal electricity hike, especially for running 24 hours a day. So I think enough for delegate of Philippines. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for very nice explanation. And the last group, Nepal.
Hello, am I audible?
Okay, please.
Okay, first of all, I'm so sorry for not opening the camera since I got connection problem, but I will open if
Yeah. It's still, there is a connection problem. Okay, Kuroto ini, I think your connection is quietly poor. The other member, can you? Okay, yeah, it's fine. Please.
Can I?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Hello.
Oh, Kuroto ini is still a connection problem there.
Okay, am I? Okay. Is it clear
Nah,
now?
it's clear. Yeah, it's better. Please.
Okay. I'm going to start my timer first. So there are students. I'm not a native of Nepal, but I'm totally open for any discussions. So the activity of fisheries has been well known in Nepal, and one of the best thing and impact is that the government even provided boost both financially and by promoting it for fish farmers to dig their ponds and such. And the government even implemented policies and programs to make a fish zone at Nepal at a certain place. I think it is Morang, if I'm not mistaken, and it should be good, right? But until today, there are still a few problems in Nepal fisheries which could be improved actually. I'm going to explain two main problems, which are firstly, the lack of space, and secondly, the danger of fishes extinctions. Both problems are not exclusive to Nepal only, but both of them are caused by a certain problem that only Nepal has. I'm going to elaborate on the problems. Firstly, the lack of space. As what I've said before, the spaces of fisheries are much less in Nepal due to their geographical conditions, which are dominated by hills and forestry. Therefore, people either firstly rely on capture fisheries or secondly convert forestry or lands into ponds by digging them. And this leads into the second problem, which are the danger of fish extinctions. How did the lack of space integrate to that? The fishery sector in Nepal is dominated by the act of capture fisheries instead of aquaculture fisheries. And aquaculture are still considered as and there are only a few of indigenous species that have been domesticated. And what does this mean? It means that people rely on natural resources for fishes, which could lead into overfishing, right? Capturing could be intensified due to the pressure of making more productions without considering the size or species of the fishes. And this could lead to people taking the capture fishes into a much more drastic measures. For instance, like using explosive, poisons, electrofishings, or even small mesh gill nets. And not only both practices would in the cold fishes, which are the best potential from Nepal, by the way, this could also lead into the extinctions of other species in the river's ecosystem. Why? Firstly, the cold water fishes plays an important role in the ecosystem. Therefore, the absence of them would be a missing part in the food chain, or the ecological values would be lost, and the ecosystem would be deeply affected by that. And secondly, illegal and harmful way of capture fisheries doesn't really have a specific targets, right? In which, for example, you could poison an entire river, and the poisons could affect other organisms or even leads into crop failure water if those rivers are used for irrigations. Another point that could lead into extinction would be the idea of how Nepal mostly focuses on dig ponds. This practice of ponds are not really sustainable or effective, even though it creates more space, because it could lead into heavy soil erosions in monsoon seasons, and this means it could affect river ecology as a whole, and nursing grounds for river fishes would be gone, or would totally dissolve and suspended solids, which are not what we wanted. It could clog fish fins or suspend their growth. And dig ponds are surrounded by ground soils, which are not always effective compared to other materials for ponds. And both of these problems could be caused of biofiltration, in which are mentioned, which is zoren, which are the lack of socialization regarding the dangers of overfishing, the lack of promotion of aquaculture fishings, and the importance of fishes, or even just the idea of aquaculture itself. I think that's all from my group. Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kuroto Aini, for the explanation. Okay, our group has presented the second topic. So now we move to the discussion session. Like the first discussion session, everybody here can deliver a question to other delegates and tell us to whom is question addressed. Okay, I think the first is from Bangladesh.
Okay.
Bangladesh group. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for the time. The first question is for the Indonesia delegation. Yeah, you mentioned that aquaponic is one of the most effective solution, but can you explain to me how many the percentage, or is it currently in Indonesia a lot of people have developed the aquaponic, or how is the potential that you think it will be increased if the aquaponic be implemented in Indonesia? Because I live in Indonesia and I don't see that aquaponic currently is the emerging technology that we as the aquaculture practitioner develop in Indonesia. And the second one is,
Good morning, sir.
Okay.
Can I answer the questions that you questions earlier?
I think we collect the question first. After that, everyone can answer the question. And I think it will be just one question from everybody. Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Okay. Next from the Philippine group.
Can I ask questions to every country that was already discussed earlier in the
No, I think the second change is from the Philippine groups first. Mr. Ruby Agil.
Yes.
Yeah, I think from the Philippines group first for the second second question.
Okay. Notification. Okay, and the queries from me for the delegates of Philippines to all of the delegates, or especially for Bangladesh or Nepal, I don't know, who implemented. So the question for me is actually the aquaculture need a lot of waters, and the raw material also must be replaced, right? So have you, all the delegates, have you ever imagined what you will do to dispose of water produced from the rest of the process of the biofog? Will it become waste if or harmful to the environment that we want to throw away in the water that we have used for the system? And what is the water renewal in fish pond is not waste? Do you get it? What my question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for the question from the Philippines group. And
Okay,
the third question, I think from the group, Ms. Zoren or Mr. Zoren or Ms. Kuroto Aini, please.
Can I throw my question?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so my question is there directly to all the groups. Okay, my question goes this way. do you think all the technology that you've introduced is harmful or helpful to our environment? Do you think it has a impact to what they call climate change? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zoran. And the next, Kurato Aini.
Am I audible right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm actually going to ask a question specifically for the Bangladesh group, but it could also be answered by other groups if since it is not a really specific question. But for the Bangladesh specifically, one of the agenda that you guys proposed for Bangladesh is biofloc and IMTA, right? Sorry if I'm mistaken, but the question would be, are there any consideration regarding the problem on the socialization or promotion regarding these methods? Since I believe that both methods has so many potential, and that will be my question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for Kurato Aini. The next is from Robert from Indonesia.
Thank you very much. My question is to the RAS group and basically to all of us. And my question is, what is the position? What is the position of the local farmer in these technologies? Are the local farmers able to access these technologies are they, in terms of their costs, is the local farmer able to get them? Because these technologies, for them to be implemented, the main person for development of this aquaculture is the local farmer. Apart from the big companies, do we have technologies which are catering for the small scale farmer on the ground? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the last question, I think, from Mr. Ryan. Just one question. We have limited time.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Pabay. May I ask everyone, member of the group or anybody else, to answer the questions in general? And number one questions that I will ask for you is, what are the main problems that the technology was introduced by each group? What are the main problems that are encountered by the technology that introduced in every country? And the second question is how every country implemented that technology, even there is a problem, and how to secure a food security for sustainability. That's all.
Okay, thank you for the question. In total, we have 6 questions to all group. The first question is from Bangladesh, specifically to Indonesia. Okay, group from Indonesia, the representative can answer the question.
Can I answer the questions? Your questions for me, sir. Indonesia. I'm Ryan. I'm presenting Indonesia for an aquaponics. Your questions is how Indonesia implemented the status of aquaponics in the Indonesia. Even though in your I think in your institution or in your locality didn't implemented well the Indonesia, but the government itself has really promoting technology on the aquaponics. But the desired technology is well good. The technology is explained by the science, and when it comes to community level, it depends on the aquaculturist what kind of technology they will implemented. Like for example, the status of aquaponics in Indonesia, as published in the Food and Agriculture Organizations, this is one of the good publications that the aquaponics is developed in Indonesia the Bumina and Yumina. The Bumina and Yumina technology, special aquaponic type system that integrates fruit and fish and integrates vegetable and fish. That's why they really, some Indonesian people really implemented these aquaponics in their locality. They grown in a circular tank in order to produce food in their household or in their their localities. Then there are some, as I have said before, there are some technology, that there are some methods, techniques on how this aquaponics was implemented in the Indonesia. Such what I have said before, there are the media-based system, the deep water culture, and the nutrient film system. And can I answer some questions, sirs? Or I am not allowed to answer the question?
From?
Okay, the second questions from technology is very helpful or harmful for change. I think all the technology are helpful in order to solve the climate change, specifically in the aquaponics system. Because in aquaponics system, climate change is really changing the environment. What here in aquaponics system is you can control the environment, what you're desiring for. And when you put up an aquaculture system in an open environment, it can affect the climate change. Why we need to control? That's why aquaponics or aquaculture discussed that aquaculture can culture in the cultured environment. Such a way we can provide fish for food and we can provide plants for also food in order to solve food security. Okay, the third question is, I think everybody can answer this. Local farmers can access this technology. It depends on the farmers that are able to accept the technology. But it depends on the budget, desired budget, as long as the technology was really improved, was really published, and how they can implement it. It depends on them, on how they implement, because this technology are already published. Once they are published, they are mean successful of this technology. Why the locals cannot implement it? Because access, I think the problem here is the government, the local government unit, the problem is the national government, and we cannot move on that. It depends on the people, it depends on the on us in order to solve the food security in every people.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ryan, for the explanation and answer the question. The second question comes from the Philippines and specifically for Bangladesh. The representative of Bangladesh, can you answer the question from the Philippines?
Okay, I will try to answer this question. Yeah,
Okay,
aquaculture need water, and what will you do with the wastewater with your technology? Basically, in bioflux and also rice fish farming, yes, the aquaculture need such a lot of water. And yeah, as I mentioned before, that there's still a problem in that two of the technology that currently being implemented in Bangladesh. And we from Bangladesh will explain it more actually in the third session of this discussion, which is we combine the integrated multi-tropic aquaculture with Internet of Things and several embedded technology that can control the water quality and also the circulation, the water treatment plant in the aquaculture, so that the waterways can be minimized. But maybe one of my friend also want to add something. Siva.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, as mentioned before by Firman, that we have a solution for bioflux itself. But in bioflux, we can try to maintain the water quality because we know that bioflux as a bioremediator to improve water quality. And in water, we need some minerals like nitrogen to to maintain the fish quality life. But we need to balance the input of ratio by carbon and nitrogen, and also we need to adjust the type of carbon source, and also we need to do aeration and mixing of water. So I think we think in biofloc for the water management is not a huge problem, because in biofloc itself we use this system to as bioremediator to improve water quality itself. But for more information about our solution in aquaculture, we have another solution and it would be proposed in the last session. Thank you.
Okay, it's enough from the Bangladesh. Okay, thank you for the answer. And next, move to the third question comes from Nepal groups. Anybody wanna answer the question? It's a general question for all group.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me try to answer also from the perspective of Bangladesh current technology. Is the technology is helpful or harmful to tackle the climate change? Basically, the impact of climate change toward the aquaculture is come in various ways. For example, the aquaculture may bring bad impact due to the utilization of water resources that in the future climate change scenario is predicted to be more scarce or increase in the scarcity or decrease in terms of the water resources, clean water resources. But the helpful one from the sustainable aquaculture system, if we can implement the suitable or the the equilibrium based on the technology and also the sustainability, there will be a great chance for the aquaculture to also give a helpful solution to tackle with the climate change, because one of the great challenge from the climate change if happen in the nearer future is the food security problem, because lack of nutrition, decreasing of nutrition level from the food, and also the other one, and aquaculture may be a promising solution in that case.
Okay, thank you for. Yeah. Okay. Please, just short answer. I think
Aquaponics, that this is harmful or helpful, really. It depends on the culture technology that we need in this climate resilient. We choose climate resilient organism first, and we can adapt a technology that are resilient. But as I have said before, the technology that we could conduct in every country is adaptable to the environment, because in aquaculture we really need to control the environment. There's a lot of technology that we have. So in order to solve this climate change, it's really need to control the environment that we have. That's all.
Okay, thank you for the answer. We move to the next question. Also,
I want to add some information about aquaponics.
Okay. Okay. Please.
Aquaponics technology, though every aquaculture technology has some disadvantages and advantages. I think aquaponics technology has many advantages, like it can uses up to 90% less water than traditional agriculture system. Plant can grow much faster and reduce water pollutants, and it also can be installed both indoor and outdoor system, and also improve the livelihoods and increase the food security. And it is easy to culture, and it has low labor cost and produce minimal waste. And also it requires limited energy and delivers the positive impact in our environment, and it is also a biological system. So aquaponic is so we can use aquaponic system for culture our fishes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I think it's enough for the answer. I think
Mamisha,
we
thank you
move.
for the support in terms of aquaponics. Thank you.
Okay. And we move to the next question from Nepal to specific to Bangladesh. Please.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the question from Nepal. Yeah, you asked about biofloc and IMTA socialization. Yes, the socialization is one of the biggest challenges in whatever country, I think, when we're talking about a new implementation, a new kind of technology implementation. And Bangladesh itself, based on our literature review, they have a specific program from the Fisheries Ministry and also Agriculture Ministry. They get a huge amount of funding from the FAO and also international donor in order to collaborate with local people, and also they currently implemented something like multi stakeholder collaboration from the government and then the academia, and also from the startup and the local farmer. So I think the socialization is being increased by or increasing in a good path, but there's still need a very time and specific suitable strategy in order to socialize the kind of new technology or something new in the aquaculture. Maybe Siva also want to add something.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. So yeah, we need more collaboration with other participants. Besides that, we also need our effort, as we know that we are still young and we can sounding the importance or the urgency itself about the IMTA or biofloc itself, because mostly people will feel urged if we as young we encourage people to manage to be participated in our aquaculture system. And yeah, we think that's enough for the socialization itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. Because we have limited time, I think we can continue the discussion in the last session. And we move along to the third session of the conference. The third session, the topic raised is the solution to fix the problems from the participant perspective. And also each delegate's representative can explain how is the solution especially for the negative impacts from the application of the aquaculture technology based on each group country. Every group has 3 minutes, and we start for the first group. I think the Philippines can start this session.
Okay, can I answer this topic session? Before that, my voice is clear in Zoom, moderator?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay, thank you for the answer. So the use of regulating aquaculture system technology will be provide a solution to the challenge of aquaculture in the future, which in the practice it means is Philippines increasingly complex. This technology is considered to be able to overcome uncertain natural phenomena such as climate change and environmental quality. Such technology at the time become the top solution the problem of river organic pollution from cultivation areas, along with the high demand for salmon fry, which are needed all the time. The Razi system is new hope in the Philippines to meet the need for quality seeds in the Philippines. When they compare the conventional system, this system is able to produce much higher productivity, and by using and regulating aquaculture system, the fish rise will be more healthy and the food circulation rate lower than fish conventional at the other pool, maybe my group is ever say the benefit of REST is such as component design for plug and play direct application, and the integration would require RS filtration equipment in the platform. And then decrease operational costs, the automated automation, and the last is optimized time recovery rate. I think it's enough for me. Thank you, moderator.
Okay, thank you for the explanation for the solution from the Philippines group. Next, to other group, Bangladesh, please.
Okay, I'm going to answer this topic, yeah, solution to save the problem. As we have a revealed before about the solution of integrated multi-tropic aquaculture combined with rice fish farming and also bioflocks, because you know that we have mentioned that the problem from that kind of technology currently implemented in Bangladesh is first is the pollution that produced by the aquaculture, and by using IMTA, the detritivore and the other tropical level will utilize the waste produced by the main aquaculture system, and they can degrade the toxicological effect from the waste, and finally the nutrient that it's more safe can be utilized by, for example, in the rice fish farming, the rice will absorb the essential nutrient for their growth, so there won't be any you know, food security problem in this term. And then for the escape species from the rice fish farming, we propose the implementation of, you know, embedded technology to monitor the system of the aquaculture, so that if there is some species that escape from the system, there will be a notification so that it will prevent or minimize the number case of escape species from the aquaculture rice fish farming. And for the water pollution, I think IMTA and combining with the IoT system to monitor the water quality level in the biofloc or in the rice fish farming will be a promising solution, because by using this technology, the fisherman or the aquaculture stakeholder can easily monitor and can make a decision if there is something happen in terms of water quality, and about the waste produced by the water that maybe not good enough in the water treatment. Maybe Siva want to add something too.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, okay. So with IMTA and also the IoT, we can detect, we can use the advantage of internet to control the water quality itself in IMTA. As we know that maybe perhaps there are invasive species or other things like will impacted to our ponds, we have internet to control our ponds. So yeah, it will be the promising solution to be implemented in aquaculture system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you from Bangladesh.
From Indonesia.
Yeah.
Can I speak
How?
regarding to the solution to the said problems from the perspective?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. The next group. Yeah. Okay. The next group is Indonesia, please, for the solution.
Solution to the said problem. We come up here in a student conference, the problems in every country. The main problem is food security. The main problem for why we need to culture for food security. That's why we need to develop technology. And the technology that was developed by every country, such as the biofloc, aquaponics, integrated multi-tropic aquaculture system, raceway system, is a solution for food security. This technology influence the water quality management. All of this water quality management implies if we have a good water quality management, it implies good production, and it will solve a food security in every community. Such technology, the bioflux system. The bioflux system is a bank, system bank on the photosynthesis to convert the uneaten feeds, feces, excess nutrients into food while breaking down into ammonia. This in relation to food to water quality, the bioflux system. Aquaponic also is in relation the technology to water quality. But here in the aquaponic system, it is a symbiotic integration of two mature production of discipline, which is involved aquaculture and hydroponics. The aquaculture, there is a science behind fish farming and the science behind the fish growing of plants. This is the solution. Also, the technology is the solution for food security. Also, the integrated multi-tropic aquaculture system, the integrated or EMTA as solution that we can solve problem in water quality. EMTA is similar to polyculture, where there are two or more species to culture farmed together, where the EMTA is a multiple aquatic system from different trophic levels and provide ecosystem services. Also, same technology in the recirculating aquaculture system. The main problem here is the water quality management. That's why when implementing aquaculture, we need to secure water quality management in order to produce more productions. Not only water quality management, but also the fish nutrition, the physiology, and some more the climate change. But the basic concept, the big impact in this student conference, in this technology, is the water quality management to come up with food security in every country that we live in. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And the last
From Nepal.
groups from Nepal, please.
Okay, so thank you.
Information about aquaponic in Indonesia. Solutions of aquaponic in Indonesia. Though we all know that Indonesian aquaponic system.
Okay, please continue.
We all know that Indonesian aquaponic system is widely found to promote the aquaponics in Indonesia to both commercial growth. Indonesia get increased interest from business, gardening, environmental farming, and can do some similar programs, publication, and which can help people and increase their interest about aquaponics. Aquaponics is a biological system where it can control the water quality. It has some solutions it has some solutions to food insecurity, sustainable aquaculture management, environmental friendly technology, and it is compared to a single fish or plant production. It saves water. It saves water energy nutrient, and also we can use wastewater from aquaculture that can be used to nourish plants directly recirculated back into fish tank. And it also can we can also manage the pH level and manage the pH level. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Nisat. And next, the last group from Nepal.
Okay, so thank you so much,
okay.
and good morning, everyone. For the Nepal group, I think the best solution for all of our problem, especially we are dealing with aquaculture because we wanted to secure the food security, because we wanted that every humanity can eat 3 times a day or 4 times a day, that they have food on their plate. But let us remember that the best solution in all our problem is our self-discipline. So we are introducing different technology. We are introducing. We conducted different research. Our research we put it into a technology and we distribute it to the community. But one thing that we neglected is our approach to the technology that we are using. Like, for example, if you are a owner of a farm, what will you do is you will put water into pond. After how many days of culturing, you will harvest your organisms. Then what will you do about the wastewater? So be environmental friendly. Like for example, your wastewater, don't throw it away to the ocean. Why not come up into a reservoir and treat your water before you release it to the ocean? Because in that way, I guess we cannot we cannot we cannot say that the global warming is predictable, but what we can do is find ways in an environmental way, friendly environmental ways to to make it slowly the degradation of our resources. Do not be greedy because we are reaching the demand for the supply. Let us remember that no matter what may happen, is at the end of the day, we live on one earth. Then if we don't and if we don't use care, we don't use our instinct to make it better, what will happen to the next generation? So I guess for the Nepal group, let us have a friendly approach. Let us use our discipline, our norms, that no matter what may happen at the end of the day, we only have one earth. And if we don't utilize it very well, what will happen to the next generation? I guess for us,
Okay.
that is the best solution.
Okay. There is
Thank you.
other
And so from
additional
other group, I think I have one from the Nepal group.
Okay. Kurato, ini wanna
Okay. Thank you so much, firstly, to Zoran for opening the discussion. Secondly, I do agree with Zoran about how our self-discipline is the most. Wait, I forgot to time myself. Wait. Sorry. I think I agree with Zoran about how self-discipline and such are the most important thing in solving aquaculture problems, even in other countries. And not only from us, I think not all humans know the importance of it, which means that there are a lack of socialization and introduction regarding certain topics like conservation, mitigation, or much more effective research programs that could also conserve our earth. It should be considered, and in which there should be more introductions either from the government or from the individuals in Naples, or even from external individuals like us regarding the effects of human activities to natural river, or secondly, much more effective way of domestication of fishes instead of introducing invasive species and technologies for fisheries which are more efficient. We should also introduce the danger of overfishing and basically pushing the agenda of promoting healthy aquaculture itself. And the conservation of fishes in general, or even rare fishes, should be considered more not only in Nepal but also on other countries. Both biologists, government engineers, and everyone could work together to find other alternatives for human activities that needed rivers like irrigations, capture fisheries, and such. And secondly, section of rivers should be declared as a sanctuary or even closed by the time or on the specific place that are considered as a place for fish breedings, in which when people disrupt the fish breedings process, then it could not lead into more reproduction, right? And thirdly, I think Nepal should be taken into international consideration for more boosts either from the government or international community, since their resources for cold water fisheries are one of the best in Asia. At the end of the day, cooperation between each actors play a big role. So by the time that's established, Nepal could even go further with their fisheries. But also for the farmers themselves, since currently they are relying on big fish ponds, right? And even the government, as what I've said before, has invented a huge amount of money for them only to dig more ponds. And this practice are not always sustainable or effective, since they are surrounded by ground soils, which are not as sustainable as like polyethylene, fiber, or tarpaulin, which are easy to get but more sustainable. Therefore, the government could be government boost could be reallocated for farmer to build or develop fish tanks instead, in which are possible for the breeding of cold water fishes, especially like rainbow trout or Oncorhynchus mykiss, which are popular in Nepal's aquacultures. And if these tanks are considered as a hassle because there would be water changing and such, a technology of biofloc or others, which are brought by other groups too, which lets fish's feces or leftovers to be consumed again without any poisoning from the leftover gases would do. I think that's all from me. Would any friends from my add more?
Can I?
Okay.
Just a small, just a.
Okay,
Small
just a short.
Okay. I'm addressing it to my co-students, which is we are part of the youth sector. Let us remember the concept of the Liebig's law of minimum, that all natural resources are very, very available anytime, anywhere. But let us remember they are renewable. Make small ways to a friendly approach, which is very impactable for the result. Be part of the solution. Let us have aquaculture, because they say aquaculture is the best solution for food security. But let us remember that try to look behind you what will happen for the future. Uh, sm- uh, uh, Small things comes from big one. Big ones comes from small things. Action
Okay.
now, we will harvest it tomorrow.
Okay, thank you for the Nepals. And we have limited time for the third discussion session. We only have two questions. Anybody wanna asking a question just for two delegates? Yeah, there is from Bangladesh. I think one from Bangladesh and one other. Anybody? Yeah. Okay, I think from Bangladesh and from the Philippines.
Okay, maybe Sifa, you want to ask something?
Okay, thank you so much, Firman. Oh yeah. So firstly, I would like to clarify first about the words that mentioned by delegates of Indonesia. Let's say that we have to we should maintain the water quality to control the food security. Yeah, it is. But as Bangladesh proposed before, that we use the IoT to maintain the water quality. So we make sure that our water quality is fine. And yeah, and even though the IMTA is similar to polyculture, but we have to understand first about the system itself. In IMTA, it's not just only use about the linear model, but we use the circular model when we know that the fish waste, and it would be converted to minerals that will be benefits for our fishes too. And yeah, that's it. So I would like to ask to Nepal that I agree that we have to have our self-discipline, but when we talk about macro things, I mean, we talk about we need to control a lot of people. Why what we need to do to ask people, to urge people to be disciplined, especially discipline in aquaculture things. Yeah, I think that's enough. Thank you.
Can I answer the questions, ma'am?
Wait, I think
I am allowed to answer with the questions from Indonesia.
I think first let Hairunisa to asking a question for other. After that, you can answer the question from the Bangladesh.
Okay, so I'm not exactly asking a question. I'm about to ask you, the moderator, that you said I can, since my group country haven't answered the question from the second session, and you said to answer in the third
Yeah.
session.
Okay.
And I think it's suitable. So
Yeah,
can I
okay.
answer now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Please.
so I'm gonna answer the questions from Robert and also Ryan. It's the same type of answer, so I'm gonna answer both at the same time. So the first type of question is about the weakness or the problems or the obstacles of the technology, and this can apply for both Robert and Ryan. So the weaknesses of RAS is the high startup cost and the higher maintenance, and even higher maintenance costs, like for the electricity or the energy and also the feed input. But this only apply if your definition of RAS is using fancy technologies made by factories or industries, big industries. And also the other problem of RAS is the feed is using high efficiency feed, and we know that feed costs the highest in production, and it's also utilized the highest in production. About 60% of production consists of only feed. So high efficiency feed is crucial for RAS system. And if we're talking about and this is only, and the answer I'm about to say is only for Robert, since he asked about if the small farmer or local farmer can implement RAS and if they're able to access the technologies. And I'm going to answer this. If your definition of RAS is using what I said before, fancy technologies that are made by factories or industries, then I only know that only middle and big scale farmers can implement RAS, if that's your definition of RAS. But what to note is even small farmers can implement RAS. Maybe they can use a DIY filtration system. Nowadays, there are various of materials with ranging prices from cheap and expensive, and that is relative in both offline and online stores. So those materials can be used to build a RAS system. So the conclusion is every scale farmers can implement RAS. The second solution, and those before are the first solution. The second solution is for small farmers or middle scale farmers to submit a proposal to the government for a production boost. I've known a small and middle scale farmers who received a production boost, such as the fish seed, and the facilities such as solar panels are provided from the government, and they are receive those for the RAS system, RAS implemented hatchery. That's my answer for Robert from the second
Okay.
session.
Okay. Thank you for the answer. Okay, let Indonesia. I think Nepal. Yeah, Bangladesh in the first question asking for Nepal. I think Nepal can answer the question. Who is
Okay,
representative?
so it's me.
Okay.
Okay, so about the, I think it, I don't think it's a question or just opinion, but yes, what she stated earlier is true. Not only the discipline, because it is really hard to manage a big group of people to practice the best way that they can. But starting from ourselves is very impactable. So if you show, if especially to us, we belong to the youth sector. If we show them to be how to become a model of discipline, I think everyone can adopt it. Let us remember that us belong to the youth sector. Let us use our power. Let us use our voices. Let us use everything that we can use just to present that that our discipline in our life is one of, I am not saying that it is, but it is one of the best solution that we can apply. Because no matter how intensive the technology that we are using, no matter how the government support us, especially addressing it to the Nepal, one problem that they encountered there is when they approach the community, the community don't listen. But if the community sees that the individuals who are lecturing them is very sincere and have the discipline to herself, they felt ashamed, and what they will do is they'll just follow and follow every instruction and every direction of their country to become a globally competitive. Let us remember that discipline is always one of the best solutions. no matter how intensive technology we are using nowadays. I guess that's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. But we have limited time. Yeah, I think we can continue to next agenda because we have limited time. Okay, we've been through this conference well, and in the last session, I will invite Dr. Ihsan Ahmad Fauzi to provide a comment or a summary of the entire session of this conference. Dr. Ihsan, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Okay.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Okay.
Okay, that's really interesting discussions, and then I think I appreciate the level of knowledge from all the participants, but I think that they got a excellent knowledge, especially talking about the technical aspect of the aquaculture system that they want to propose. And then it's a proof that the education level in each countries are really excellent. And then I also want to applaud for their teachers, professors, who try their best to give knowledge and skills on this aquaculture. And I just want to give some perspective what you need to also realize when talking about aquaculture system. There are several things that I highlight, and then I think that my input will be better for development of your capacity, especially in terms of aquaculture. The first thing is about as I said before, you already have like excellent technical skill, but to implement technology in other areas, you need to also explain in details about the geographical or social characteristic of the people there. As we know that Nepal is a landlocked country, and then Bangladesh mainly in one big island, and in terms of Philippines and Indonesia, it's archipelagic countries. So it's better to break down this characteristics of the country so you can implement technology better. And then one thing that I think need to also address is about application of this technology in the countries. I think we need to see it also from the farmer's perspective. Like social condition in each country will be different. Some countries will have more in terms of government support. In the other countries, it's more like private sector will support more. Some farmers will be supporting new technology initiation. Some other farmers in other countries maybe have difficulties to apply this technology, and this is something that beyond the technical aspect of the technology. And I think in the future, it will be interesting to see how this sociological aspect make a difference in terms of technology applications. And then the third one about climate change. One thing that we need to realize that climate change is not only a zero waste concept, but also trying to reduce carbon prints in aquaculture. So all the things that related to carbon production should be counted in aquaculture process. And this is something that still in the progress. Even now, I only found like 1 or 2 publications on carbon print in aquaculture. But I think in the next future, in your in next decade, when you're involving in aquaculture activity, this is something important that will that will be more considered in the next development of aquaculture. So this is something that will be conducted more in the future. And I think if you plan to contribute or work in the aquaculture sector, it's something that you need to consider also. And then one thing that I also noticed when talking about aquaculture system, most of people talking about the rearing for consumption. In my opinion, there's a lot of aquaculture system, and then it's varied between the system itself or between the commodities. So it's better if you try to elaborate in specific commodities. I noticed that some presenter try to frame it in one or two commodities, but other groups make it general, and also not about the commodities also, but also about the system. We have like hatchery system, we have rearing pond, we have aquaculture for ornamental fish, we have algae productions, seaweed productions, and this is also aspect that we need to try to develop. So I think it's better to in the future, it's better to diversify the technology, not only focusing in the grow out activities, but also in other activities that also contributing to aquaculture. For example, when talking about introductions of new species, we'll talk about the process of spawning or production of seed of this species first before we go out to the grow out. And then this is I think by knowing this, it will widen your perspective, and hopefully we can develop all the technologies, not only on the grow out, but also the other supporting system that contributing to aquaculture. But in general, this is really a good discussions. I think that what you have talked is exceeding my expectations. I'm happy that a lot of participants here be trying to active to give an input, give opinions and perspective from their each unique experience in their countries. So hopefully we can still do it this activity in next years, and hopefully we can try to collaborate more between universities, because I think sharing this unique knowledge about each countries, we can further develop aquaculture science. Thank you, and also appreciation for the organizer. It's a very it's a good activities, and I support it to be continued for the next year.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Isan, for the comment and the conclusion. Thank you. And before we close this activity, I also want to inform you our agenda is supported by the sponsor Aquacell, and for the media partner Info Aquacultur, Aqua, IAAS Asia Pacific, also Aquaculture magazine. And okay, thank you for your interesting discussion this morning. I hope we can meet again in another opportunity. And before we close, I think there is a documentation. I think you can please open your camera for the documentation. Okay, please everybody open your camera. Yeah. Okay, okay, wait. Okay. Yeah, we will take a documentation in 1, 2, 3. Okay. Okay, thank you. And also, I will inform you that we will announce the best delegates in this conference in the closed event of Aquaculture Festival on September 25, 2022. So please attend our activity on the closing of Aquaculture Festival. Okay, I would like to thank you for interactive participant. I hope we get new insight and new knowledge. I apologize if there are any mistakes during guiding the conference, and I think that's enough for me. Thank you, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon. Thank you in another opportunity.
Thank you so much. It's such a great opportunity.
Thank you so much,
Thank
sir.
you.